Vào cuối tuần này có một cuốn phim mới nhất của nữ diễn viên mà vừa mới thắng giải Oscars, đó là nữ diễn viên Julianne Moore, cho cuốn phim của cô mang tên Still Alice, là cuốn phim mà đã giúp cô đoạt giải Oscars cho nữ diễn viên chính xuất sắc nhất. Cuốn phim mới nhất của cô sẽ được trình chiếu rất hạn chế bắt đầu vào cuối tuần này, đó là phim Maps to the Stars, thưa quý vị. Đây là cuốn phim được đạo diễn bởi Bruce Wagner. Ngoài phần diễn xuất của Julianne Moore, cũng có phần xuất hiện của John Cusack, Mia Wasikowska, Sarah Gadon, Carrie Fisher và Robert Pattinson. Đạo diễn bởi cũng như là soạn thảo bởi Bruce Wagner, thưa quý vị, và được đạo diễn bởi David Cronenberg, là một nhà đạo diễn rất là nổi tiếng. Và cuốn phim dài đến 111 phút, được xếp hạng radar cho những cảnh bạo động và tình dục, hình ảnh khỏa thân, ngôn ngữ và một số nguyên liệu ma túy. Sau đây là cuộc nói chuyện của phóng viên Kiyra Lynn với người viết truyện cho cuốn phim này, đó là Bruce Wagner, về Maps to the Stars, với phần diễn xuất của Julianne Moore.
You are the screenwriter
Yes.
to Maps to Stars.
Yes.
I watched the movie last night.
Yeah. Were you traumatized?
I was not traumatized. I was actually very engaged.
Good.
This film premiered at Cannes last year.
Yes.
And from what I've read, it's been received very well.
Yep.
Were you expecting to have this all-star cast? Julianne Moore,
Yeah.
John Cusack, Rob Pattinson.
Yeah. Well, you know, someone of David Cronenberg's caliber attracts actors like that. So I never had that sinking feeling you have when you work in Hollywood, where they go through an endless list of potential people, starting with the unreachable ones. Mm-hmm. You know, David can get to the unreachable ones. They're anxious to work with him. I was thrilled with the cast that he assembled. Julianne, you know, we were going to make this movie 10 years ago, mm-hmm. and she signed on then. But David wanted to shoot the entire movie in LA, and it was just too expensive. So he went on to do A History of Violence and a bunch of other movies. Mm-hmm. And then when he had Cosmopolis at Cannes with Rob Pattinson, he couldn't get the script out of his system, David, evidently. He showed it to Rob. Rob said he was on board. Julianne was available. And it went from there. You know.
It worked out.
Mm-hmm.
When you wrote Havana,
yeah.
did you necessarily have Julianne Moore in mind? Who were you thinking at the time? She portrayed her amazingly.
No, I wrote this script over 20 years ago. And Julianne, I later found out, was a fan of a novel that I'd written called I'm Losing You. But I didn't meet her. She wasn't really, I don't generally write I write mostly novels. I've written 9 novels, and I certainly don't have someone in mind when I write them. I think very few directors do have that kind of relationship. David O. Russell might, certainly David Cronenberg with actors such as Viggo Mortensen, mm-hmm. that he's used. But generally the business is such that if you write something specifically for someone and then they're not available, it's kind of pointless. The material has to come first, you know. And David is truly a master in so many ways, but when it comes to what he calls the black arts of casting, you know, he's extraordinary. So that's how that evolved.
Well, tell us about the story so our viewers have an understanding.
Maps to the Stars is a story about a very dysfunctional Hollywood family. And, there's a young boy who is a huge television and movie star and has been crippled by his fame and wealth. His sister, who is schizophrenic and was burned in a fire many years ago and has spent years away from the family living in Florida in a kind of a halfway house. And when she returns, which is the very first frame of the movie, on a Greyhound bus, that kind of galvanizes all the action of the film.
Now Jerome, who is played by Rob Pattinson, plays a limo driver.
Yeah.
Who is also an actor
That's
and a
right.
screenwriter.
That's right.
And he has a line in the film that he's doing research for his screenplay.
Yeah.
Now, how did that come about? I know that in your past
Yeah.
you were a driver.
Yeah, I drove a limousine. I went to Beverly Hills High School and dropped out of high school and drove an ambulance and a limousine, which were kind of two sides of the same coin for me. People either trying to look like they were famous, or people that actually were famous, people that were dying, or people that were pretending to be far more sick than they actually were. You had those poles, those extremities. Rob Pattinson is when I was driving a limousine and then later wrote a character called Bud Wiggins in my novels. Bud Wiggins was a failed screenwriter, someone that had experienced a lot of shame and humiliation in Hollywood. Rob Pattinson's character is different in that he's young, he's still full of kind of vim and vigor, and he hasn't been knocked down yet, which eventually happens in Hollywood. You get knocked down, even the mighty get knocked down. So I drew on my experience as a limousine driver. I had people in the car like Andy Warhol and Olivia de Havilland and Orson Welles I used to take to lunch.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I had a wide breadth of experience as a limousine driver, but in terms of my own experience, I didn't have at that time, I don't know if I had those kind of aspirations. Probably some of them, yeah, but the Hollywood life proved to me far more harsh. And I have a feeling that's coming for the character of Jerome, Yeah.
Well, I had a great time watching your film.
Awesome. That's all I can ask for. You know what I mean? That's what we were trying to have people have a great time. Even though by the end, people are stunned and need to see they need an intervention by the end of the movie.
It has everything.
Yeah.
Sex, drugs.
Yeah. Just like real life.
Well, congratulations on everything.
You.
The movie opens in theaters February 27th and is available on video on demand. This is Kiyra Lynn. This is Bruce Wagner. And we'll check you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Vâng, cảm ơn Kiyra Lynn. Thanks Kiyra Lynn. Đó là cuộc nói chuyện của cô với Bruce Wagner, là người đã viết truyện phim cho cuốn phim Maps to the Stars, với phần diễn xuất của một đội rất là hùng hậu, Julianne Moore, John Cusack, cũng như là một số tài tử khác. Thưa quý vị, và cuốn phim này được trình chiếu rất hạn chế, bắt đầu vào cuối tuần này, được đạo diễn bởi David Cronenberg. That's it. Đó là những cuốn phim mà bắt đầu được trình chiếu vào cuối tuần này. Đến đây, Tô Uyen xin trân trọng kính chào tạm biệt tất cả quý vị. Cảm ơn quý vị khán giả rất là nhiều đã theo dõi chương trình của chúng tôi hôm nay, và xin kính chúc tất cả quý vị có một ngày thật là hạnh phúc và bình an.